let's talk about
Mother effer. We have a page for it.
Amnesia as storytelling, or even we can get into the morality or whatever the word is.
Hey, speaking about Amnesia as storytelling, I got one of those books.
Yeah, tell us about it. Is it out or is it? Oh, you okay?
Well,
so one's out.
One with amnesia as a plot point, one with memory manipulation as a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
maybe when with the word memory in the cover, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So I'll go with the less obvious one though. So my newer book, An Unexpected Adventure. It's a very whimsical, kid-friendly adventure, but basically it's about this kid who gets picked up by a storm, literally picked up because storms are like sentient creatures in this world. Whoa. And he gets thrown halfway across the continent and loses his memories.
Marbles.
And he has to find his way back to and, he has to remember who he is, where he's from, and find his way back. And he's in a world where there's shark huffalo, which are shark
centibear
and centibears.
Hey,
and he has
I
to
just
go
realized I haven't.
which
Sorry, go.
Roll around and try and trick people by moving when they're sleeping, things like that. So
yeah,
it's pretty whimsical, pretty fun. He's accompanied by a mountain panther grandma who takes him in as kind of one of her cubs.
Yeah.
The yellow on the cover of that book is rather striking as well. Kind of tying back into the whole covers thing. Yeah.
So that using the amnesia or just memory manipulation as a storytelling device, great for sci-fi because then we can, instead of debating whether that technology, if it ever does come to exist, whether we should implement it or not. Was it Spotlight? What's that fucking Jim Carrey movie? Sunshine of an Eternal.
He's on three of them.
Something of an Eternal Mind. The
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I remember it was a weird granola cover. Anyway,
that's a great movie that starts up that conversation. So it's really cool element to throw into sci-fi to preemptively have the conversation because in that movie with Jim Carrey is a great example where it's just man, these memories are who make us, and it's just once it's gone, it's gone, and it's I don't know. But
Dollhouse might be the most compelling sci-fi story involving memory loss.
That was the TV series, right?
Yeah, you've heard of it?
I've watched the first 2 seasons of it. I love.
That's all there is.
Song. Oh, okay, then I watched it all. Yeah, I love the intro song.
It was really good.
Yeah. AC, you would love Dollhouse, by the way. It F's you up, dude.
I'm thinking of Russian Doll.
No, it's not as good.
You have the memory wipe premise. You gotta stick the landing. And if I remember right, that show didn't do it for me.
The ending is a little odd. Is a little odd.
That to me it's one of the most fascinating basic premises of okay. Who is this person? There's weird things going on. You go along for the ride, but you got to really pull out of it the right way. And
I feel a lot of stories use it the same way. They all kind of go the Jason Bourne route. It's they only lose convenience to lose memories, and they have
That's what Total Recall did.
It's a mystery, and you have to get those specific memories back. Right. But they have all these. It feels like it's a very convenient thing that people use.
I did it in the least convenient way. Well, I shouldn't say the least convenient, but I did it in a very intentful way. I did it with intent. There's a very strong reason why my amnesia story has it, and it's because there's all kinds of symbolism with the main character becoming human again.
It's memory of mortality.
Yep. It's essentially set in my fantasy world. Here, you guys keep talking.
Sorry, yeah. Well, so I think that one of the most common ways we see memory used in storytelling is the lazy way. Is a very convenient way to start off a story. Anime does it all the time.
Anime does. I forgot about that. Anime's they are criminals with that.
It's as there's so many. There's as many of those as there is isekais, where it's just standard.
Well, it creates an easy fish out of water like storytelling.
Right.
I just thought of it. Another one, like any CW style show where like a part of a young couple does something bad, and then they get in that terrible accident and they forget they broke up or forget the bad thing that happened. It happens all the time. I just thought about it.
They're like, if he starts to remember, we're gonna have to kill him.
Oh, geez.
So, that's like Vampire Diaries.
Dirty Little Liars. Oh, okay, never mind.
Pretty Little Liars.
I thought it was dirty.
What different? That's on a different website.
I watched the wrong show.
It can work though. It can work. Nothing's coming to my
for
mind,
sure.
but I've definitely seen the Amnesia storytelling just done so well.
It
can be.
I think it's hard to do well. I think it's not the easiest thing to do well.
Yeah,
because a lot of people do it. And
it works well, like in the Jason Bourne. Just like if you want to just have a good action, like cliche, like
sure.
It works well if you keep it really simple. If that makes sense.
I don't think it's difficult to write in. I just think it allows, like, kind of like time travel and multiverses. It just allows and breeds lazy story writing.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to touch on something you said. Yeah. Like the Bourne stories, the books and the movies, they do a lot of things really well. It feels like a whole bunch of stories got the wrong lessons from the books and the movies.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stories started doing like the Amnesia hero kind of guy, and they didn't do it as well. All action movies were shaky cam, and they didn't know how to do it. Like Bourne is great, but it inspired everyone else to lazily attempt it.
It taught everybody the wrong lesson.
Yep.
So, great book that I'm just thinking about now. Uses memory loss. It's a sci-fi. It's great. Recursion, and basically, it's the premise is a bunch of people that are all correlated. Who's that by? Who's that by? Blake something.
Lively.
Blake Crouch. I think his name is. And
Blake
so
Crouch.
basically,
Yeah, you got it.
Everyone's associated with this one party that happened. That's like the one tie-in. But there's like random people that have occurred, and they all have these. They call it fake memory syndrome, and so they're all having these memories of
things that never happened.
Things that never happened, and it opens up with this woman who's standing on the edge, and it's the detective's point of view, and he's trying to come down, like figuring out what's going on, and she's like, "I have this isn't memory loss, but different case, but
memory confusion, which is almost worse."
And so, she's like, "I have a memory of a son. I know him. His name is this. And I know that you guys keep saying he's not real and he doesn't exist, but I know he's real." And then she jumps off. It's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Amazing opening to a book. Like, you want to talk about drawing you in, and the detective is like, "Fuck, we got to figure out what's going on."
They were just copying Lethal Weapon.
Other guys aim for the bushes.
So
there's it's not Amnesia directly, but it's almost Amnesia adjacent. Actually, never mind. Go ahead. We get off topic all the time.
Okay. Well, what are the sci-fi things we got that's like implanted memories and goes into the morality of that? I mean, Mike, you mentioned something about your stories kind of going into the morality.
I have one that's a fantasy world, but basically the magic system all is based around memory. So there's 4 different main magics, which one is when you touch other people, you can see their memories. And another is you can remotely give your memories to other people. And the other is you can touch people, you can erase their memories. And then another, the least common, you find out later why, but the least common is you can insert yourself into the memories of others remotely.
So I imagine this plays a huge element into the storytelling.
It has to.
Yeah.
Well, it's like sometimes you have things like that, like power similar, maybe not as robust in stories, and then they barely use it to its potential, and you're just
it's like for one convenient plot point, and then never brought up again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like outside of top.
But,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was saying this is one of my first books, so thinking back, there's things I'm like, I could have probably done this better, but like one of the things I do is like during the fight scenes, like one of the guy, he's a memory mage, so like when he's grappling with the other guy, he goes through their memories and he's like, oh, he got injured in his knee here, and then he kicks the knee, and they use like the touch for memories for battles because they can see like, oh, he's had injuries here, this is their weak point here, and so they use that to help them, win fights and battles, things like that.
Yeah, no, that it's a kind of it's a more it's not convenient, what's the word, practical way to use like memory and manipulation of that kind in the story. It's a little less like story related, more action related, which is an interesting take on it.
I was kind of thinking like, how would a fighter, or like one of the characters, he's basically the chief of police, like the chief of the city guards. And I was like, how would he use it? He would just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna use this to see, criminals, what the criminals have done, or I'm gonna use this like. There's not a whole lot of that in the story.
And then the criminal's going to be like, I'm going to insert myself into his memory as your absent father, and then you won't be able to arrest me. It'll be too emotional.
Yeah. How does this technology, or how does this power, how does this change the world? It's like when introduced elements like this, it's going to have a huge effect on the world around it.
Well, in this story, basically, the emperor, he basically saved the nation after it almost collapsed. And he's like brought them and started a new capital city. But you later find out the emperor, basically he's like a super powerful memory mage, and he like basically did a genocide against most of the memory mages
and just made everyone else forget about it.
Forget about it.
Harry Potter dips into that.
I was gonna say Harry Potter actually messes with memory stuff quite a bit, and I like how it uses memory.
It's one of those things where you're like, well, you can't do too much with that, and then you show like Harry Potter obviously doesn't delve into that, but it's like the times they use that, it's like, damn, dude, this is like kind of OP.
Well, they used it as a storytelling device, but it was interesting and it was well done. That's why Harry Potter made it work.
Yeah, sure. But then you got to think, and this is where like, it's a kid's story, but so you can give it a break. But it's like you got to think like, man, how many more people would be abusing? Well, just all the magic in Harry Potter, but like that one, for example.
Well, like Professor Lockhart stole a bunch of the credit for a bunch of other people's accomplishments. That was pretty. I'm like that. Like reading the book for the first time as a kid, I was like, holy hot damn! I knew I did not expect that for some reason. I should have expected it.
Yeah.
It's like it's that final puzzle piece that makes everything match.
Yeah. In my story, one of the ways they like use it is the emperor. He'll kidnap children who have the memory magic ability, who are the givers, who can share their memories, and then he'll torture them like brutally. Like he'll have his people torture them brutally for years, and
as you do.
And because he's the one who can insert himself into their memories, he just puts his memories of him saving them from that life. And so
we need to use a different word besides insert, because I'm a 12-year-old. Moving on.
Please.
So he can put himself inside their memories.
Can you bring up that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like he basically has an army of like loyal inquisitors, is what I call them, ironically, because they just like share like overwhelm people's minds with memories of torture. So they basically PTSD people.
See, that's a creative way to use that power. Again, like No, I really appreciate that. Bring up that comment by James Hurley, because he's brought it up a couple times, and he
really wants us to watch Enemy of the State.
I've seen it. I really enjoy that movie. It's kind of like V for Vendetta. It's not predictive. It's just the actual future in a movie from the 90s and early 2000s.
I don't know if I've seen it.
What, with Will Smith?
Yeah, like I said, we'll probably have to get it on a poll. Like maybe we'll do a Will Smith week or something like that. But we all know that
get my wife's name.
Win that.
Hancock
It's
is
like
also
a
Will
slightly
Smith
more
movie.
realistic version
Memory.
of conspiracy theory with
Oh yeah, with Mel Gibson
with Mel Gibson.
and Sandra
It's
Bullock.
like the more realistic version of that.
That movie was fun.
What movie?
Conspiracy theory.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It was.
You just watched a clip from the Iron Seas podcast. Make sure to like this, subscribe, it helps us out a little bit, and please catch the show live at 9:30 Eastern every Tuesday.